The Young and the Restless scoop for Tuesday, October 14th, reveals Kyle Abbott will stretch the truth with Harrison Locke. Also coming up, Clare Newman will meet Sienna Bacall while she's partying in LA with Holden Novak. Plus, Sally Spectra will agree to keep Jill Abbott's secret but will blab it to Billy Abbott. And Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins will try to talk sense into their son. Y&R spoilers tease Jill will video chat with Sally. She'll say she looked over her proposal and has decided to invest in Abbott Communications. Sally will be excited, but Jill will say there's just one caveat. She doesn't want Billy to know she's the investor. Sally will say Billy's going to ask where the money came from. She'll spot Billy out of the corner of her eye and hang up. Billy will walk over and ask if he should be jealous, since she hung up so fast. He'll jokingly keep prying, and Sally will tell him the person she was speaking to did want to hide their identity. "It was your mom!" Billy will be angry, thinking she's interfering in their relationship. He'll say he's not going to forget what she did. "Even if she's willing to invest in our company?" Sally will ask him. Billy will ask why she thinks it's a possibility. "I suggested it," Sally will reply. He'll say she did it without consulting him, but Sally will tell him Jill sees it as another way for him to show what he can do. "Once again, I will be at her mercy. Once again, she'll have something to hold over my head," Billy will reply. However, Sally will say Jill is looking out for him. "I think this is her way of making amends." So, Sally will say it's the right move, but Billy will tell her he's going to contact his mother and ask her why she's decided to invest. "That is a terrible idea," Sally will reply. "Please don't make me regret being honest with you." In LA, Claire will tell Holden she had the best day and he missed his calling as a tour guide. Now they're at an exclusive club where everyone seems to know him. Claire will ask him excitedly what they're going to do the next day. Holden will make some suggestions and tell her they're just getting started. Then Sienna will walk over and Holden will introduce Claire. Sienna will ask about Audra Charles. She was a handful. Holden will say she's part of his past he'd like to forget. Sienna will tell a waiter the next round of their drinks is on her. Claire will say she knows Sienna was talking about whatever happened between he and Audra. She'll head to the ladies' room and Sienna will approach Holden and ask about Claire. "She's as savvy and unpredictable as they come," Holden will say. "Kinda like you." Claire will return to their table and tell Holden she considers him a man of mystery. Getting to know him better will be exciting, but she's up to the challenge. At the Abbott estate, Kyle will tell his parents he can't delay. He needs to get to Claire before Holden does. Diane will remind him Harrison just got home from Italy. She'll also say they'd hate to see him go all the way to LA only to have this blow up in his face. However, Kyle won't listen. Claire's mom gave him the name of the hotel, and he's chartered a flight so he can see her in the morning. "Maybe Claire will see your intentions as unwanted," Jack will say. Kyle will tell them Holden will never fall in love with Claire like he has. He also doesn't want her living it up with another man. "I want all of her good times to be with me." Then Harrison Locke will run downstairs. He'll tell his father he had a bad dream about them and Claire. "Don't go, Daddy!" But Kyle will say that's why he's leaving for a few days, to bring Claire home. "You and Claire are still going to move in together, right?" Harrison will ask. Finally, Kyle will dodge his son's question. Instead, he'll tell Harrison he loves Claire and wants to spend as much time with her as possible. But how is Claire going to react when he shows up in LA? Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, October 15th, reveal that Sharon Newman and Nick Newman will receive a stunning Noah Newman update while Clare Newman's plan gets derailed. In Los Angeles, Claire will continue to have a blast with Holden Novak and try to embrace living in the moment. This is Claire's chance to live life on her own terms and break free from the Kyle Abbott drama that's been holding her back. However, Y&R fans can expect Clare's plan to hit a big snag on Wednesday's show. That may be due to Kyle's decision to fly to LA with a reunion goal, since he's indeed hoping to fix things between them. Of course, some danger could also be brewing for Clare, based on Harrison Abbott's unsettling dream and all the hints about Holden being bad news. Holden jokingly suggested that getting to know him could be scary, but there may be some truth to that. As for Victoria Newman, she'll get some support from Nate Hastings on Wednesday's episode. Victoria will open up to Nate about some of her concerns regarding Clare, Kyle, and Holden, so he'll console her and offer advice. Victoria will eventually head to Los Angeles and butt in Clare's life next, so Clare had better get used to all the meddling. In the meantime, Nick will make it to the hospital, where he'll comfort Sharon over Noah's severe injuries. Both Nick and Sharon will have plenty of questions, but they won't get all the answers they're looking for just yet. Sharon and Nick will at least get some stunning updates regarding Noah, so that could involve his dire condition or perhaps the strange circumstances of his car crash. Since Noah's return is kicking off a major mystery, there's bound to be much more to the story when it comes to this accident and who truly set it in motion. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick will go hunting for additional information later this week, so stay tuned. On The Young and the Restless, all signs point to a new internal war within the Newman family. Victor's obsessed with crushing Cain before he can cause any damage to Newman Enterprises, which has left him demanding that the rest of the family stay on high alert. However, preventing Nick from being there for Noah may have been the last straw, especially after the events of Monday's all-new episode. Nick pleaded with Victor on several occasions to allow him to work remotely, so he could fly to Los Angeles with Sharon. Nick sensed something was off with Noah, and he wanted to help Sharon get through to their son. However, Victor was adamant that Nick remain close to the family, ready and able to protect it at a moment's notice from a hypothetical Cain retaliation. Not only has Cain not yet issued a doomsday attack on the Newman family, but Nick was stuck in Genoa City at the worst possible time. Regardless of how much Nick expressed the immediate need to head out to Los Angeles, every attempt was dismissed by Victor. However, the conclusion of Monday's episode featured a panic-stricken Sharon calling Nick to inform him that Noah was involved in a serious accident. Nick could have been there, with Sharon, and by Noah's side. Instead, he was trapped in Genoa City, waiting for a game of cat and mouse with Cain that never fully got underway. If Noah's injuries are severe, this could create an irreparable rift between Nick and Victor. Although Victor claims to operate by the same standard, to Nick, his children are everything. However, for Nick, it's not the idea of family and what that means in a corporate setting. He shows up for each of his kids whenever they need him the most, no questions asked. Keeping Nick away from Noah in his greatest moment of weakness is not going to sit well with Nick and might push him over the edge, especially since the seeds are already planted. Nick walking away from the family company and cutting Victor out is far from a new occurrence on The Young and the Restless. However, this time, the stakes are higher than ever. Victor cannot risk alienating anyone in his inner circle if Cain is to be believed as a viable threat. Adam and Chelsea had things handled from the Newman media front. Victoria and Nikki were also in town to protect Newman and Chancellor from any post-expose retaliation from Cain. Nick's physical presence in Genoa City was not a necessity. Noah's accident, while tragic for Nick and the Newman family, could be Cain's most valuable weapon. Phyllis recently planted seeds of doubt in Nick's head about working for Victor, so the wheels are spinning in the back of his mind. While Phyllis isn't a conventional source for life advice, she made valid points about Victor's treatment of Nick. She told him that he could be so much more than a desk job at his family company, and with that nugget from Phyllis, there's room for exploitation. Noah's fate is yet to be revealed, but the fear in Sharon's voice made it sound like much more than a simple injury. Once Nick reunites with Sharon and Noah, the state of his son's health will determine how he handles Victor when the dust settles. For Victor's sake and the protection of Newman Enterprises, Noah better make a full recovery, or the wrath of a previously constrained father will be an even bigger threat than Cain Ashby. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that mysterious Mitch could be behind Noah Newman's car crash. Did Sienna Bacall's longtime lover order a hit on Sharon Newman and Nick Newman's son? Noah was recast and brought back for a major mystery storyline that's already in motion. Nick and Sharon have already been concerned about Noah, who seemed to need their guidance about something more than just his potential new club branch. Y&R fans will recall that Noah was supposedly summoned for a meeting with a project developer in Los Angeles, but now he's fighting for his life in a hospital bed following a serious car accident. Of course, based on the timing of all this and what we know about the story Noah's kicking off, it doesn't seem like an accident at all. It sounds more like Noah's car was sabotaged or perhaps run off the road. Noah got tangled up in some deep trouble, so it'll take some work for Nick and Sharon to make sense of what really happened. However, there's a good chance that a man named Mitch is responsible for Noah's crash. In the October 14th episode, Holden Novak reconnected with Sienna, who runs a nightclub he used to frequent back when he lived in Los Angeles. Holden asked Sienna if she was still with Mitch, so she replied that they were partners for life. That said, Sienna didn't seem too thrilled about Mitch during this conversation, so there are signs that they've been having some relationship issues. Sienna also admitted she didn't know where Mitch was, so he may have been off-screen causing problems for Noah. As for who might be playing Mitch, Roger Howarth's upcoming character has been described as a mysterious stranger who'll be involved in Noah's story along with Sienna and Detective Burrow. Howarth might be portraying Mitch, who could easily be the person who gave the order for Noah's crash. Perhaps Noah got on Mitch's bad side in a deal that went wrong and had nearly fatal consequences. Fortunately, Noah will pull through his ordeal and answer questions eventually, so we'll pass along updates on any news he might have for Sharon, Nick, and Detective Burrow. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Mitch could be Y&R's newest villain, so stay tuned. Veteran fans of The Young and the Restless recall the many Danny Romalotti concerts that took place in Genoa City. Now Danny's portrayer, Michael Damian, is set to perform on the show again with a brand new song, Let Me Into Your Heart. "I'm so excited to share Let Me Into Your Heart with everyone," Damian shares in a statement. "It's a song about love, hope, and connection, and performing it on The Young and the Restless with the cast makes it even more meaningful." Let Me Into Your Heart is written and produced by the Grammy Award-winning team of Larry and Tom Weir. The tune is the first from Damian's anticipated upcoming album. Watch for Damian to perform the song on the Y&R episode airing on Monday, October 20th. The performance ties into a special storyline moment in which Danny shares the stage with members of the show's cast in a heartfelt musical sequence. Last year, Danny returned to Genoa City and reconnected with his ex-wife, Christine Williams, played by Laura Lee Bell. The two took steps to renew their romance now that Chris has split for good from her ex, Paul Williams. Danny and Christine traveled to Los Angeles as they got to know each other again. In July, Danny proposed marriage to Christine at Society, one of Genoa City's local restaurants, and she happily accepted. Viewers have been brought into the festivities by getting to choose which wedding gown Chris will wear. Recently, Danny and Christine not only helped reunite pals Lauren and Michael, but they also asked them to partake in the wedding. Chris asked Lauren to be her maid of honor. Michael agreed to officiate the service. The happy couple is hoping one person from their past doesn't mar the festivities. Chris has asked Daniel to make sure that his mother, Phyllis, Danny's ex-wife, and the woman who broke up Danny and Chris's first marriage, doesn't do anything to disrupt this current ceremony, which is set for November. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Devon James is ending his marriage, so there's some real-life divorce drama to report for Devon's portrayer. TMZ scored some court documents that show Brighton filed for divorce on October 13th in Los Angeles, so he's ready to officially split from James and is citing irreconcilable differences. This news comes less than a year after Brighton and Jahara got hitched since their wedding happened in March. However, there were signs of trouble soon after Jahara and Brighton's nuptials, since their separation came in June. Brighton and Jahara don't have any kids together, so that'll make things less complicated as they head down different paths. As for what Devon James is requesting, he doesn't want spousal support for either one of them, and is asking Jahara to take back her former name following the divorce's finalization. This isn't Brighton's first divorce rodeo since he said "I do" with Ashley Leisinger back in 2011, before they legally ended the marriage in 2014. Some fans might remember Devon James from his days of playing Richie Crawford on Family Matters, but Y&R viewers know him best as Devon Winters. Devon is happily married to Abby Winters as far as anyone knows, but there are hints about some relationship problems on the horizon for him too. Abby and Devon's romance could hit a big snag thanks to a new storyline that's coming up. Devon will be tested in some surprising ways in the weeks ahead and will find his family at risk soon enough. Could Amanda Sinclair provide some temptation for Devon and potentially set the stage for him to cheat on Abby? Time will tell, but Devon definitely has some curveballs in his future. Abby could be in for a shock as well, depending on what Devon does next. So we'll see if their marriage survives or falls apart. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Devon's world will get thrown into some turmoil, so stay tuned for updates on all the chaos to come. The Young and the Restless star. Michelle Stafford is nominated for Outstanding Lead Actress in a drama series for her role as Phyllis Summers. She won in this category last year, making her a 3-time Daytime Emmy winner. Now, she's speaking out about this year's nomination. "I'm always very appreciative and very shocked," Stafford told Soap Opera Digest about her nomination. "It's interesting because, as an actor, I've been rejected so often. You just are so used to being rejected and not being wanted as an actor." Stafford says that she enjoyed putting this year's reel together, which featured last year's performances. She actually believes that if she didn't have a great year, then she would not submit scenes to earn a nomination. "I'm a firm believer that if you don't have something, don't submit. There's no need," she says. Stafford's reel includes scenes involving the aftermath of Heather's murder. She included scenes with Phyllis breaking down in front of Billy. Also on her reel are scenes when Phyllis is in the hospital after a car accident involving Sharon. Phyllis was fighting for her son in this storyline, as he was going through a great deal of grief over Heather's murder. The actress plans on bringing her daughter, Natalia, 15, to the awards. "My date is my daughter because she couldn't be happier to go to this," shared Stafford. This isn't the first time that Natalia has accompanied her mom to the awards. Earlier this year, the actress posted a video about bouncing the idea off her son, Jameson, to see if he wanted to go to the Daytime Emmys with his mom. You can read about his response to her proposal here. Stafford won her first Daytime Emmy in '97 in the category of Outstanding Supporting Actress for playing Phyllis on The Young and the Restless. Eileen Davidson, who is also nominated for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, and the late, great Drake Hogestyn, presented the award to Stafford at Radio City Music Hall. That year, the show was hosted by Susan Lucci and the late Regis Philbin. She won her second Daytime Emmy in 2004 in the Outstanding Lead Actress category. The Daytime Emmys will stream on Friday, October 17, 2025, at 7 p.m. ET, 4 p.m. PT. Go to watchthemems.tv to watch the Daytime Emmys. In The Young and the Restless, trouble is brewing once again in Genoa City. And this time, it's Phyllis Summers who's walking straight into a trap she never saw coming. After months of chaos and rebuilding, Phyllis finally seems to have regained control of her life and career. But everything changes when Cain Ashby returns to town, promising redemption and a fresh start. At first, Cain's efforts to prove he's changed seem genuine. He's rebuilding his reputation, reconnecting with old allies, and staying out of scandal, or so it appears. But as Y&R spoilers reveal, Cain's so-called comeback hides a dark and dangerous secret. His once powerful empire, Erebus, has been tainted by accusations of fraud and embezzlement tied to his father, Colin Atkinson. According to Newman Media's explosive exposé, Cain's wealth may have been built on lies and blood money. Facing mounting pressure from authorities, Cain realizes his empire has become a ticking time bomb. And in a shocking twist, he decides to transfer Erebus to none other than Phyllis, for just $1. Phyllis, blinded by ambition and her recent alliance with Cain, doesn't question the deal. To her, it's a chance to control a billion-dollar company and finally prove her worth. But as fans know, when something looks too good to be true in Genoa City, it usually is. Behind Cain's charming smile lies a deadly plan. By handing over Erebus, he's not giving Phyllis a gift. He's offloading a curse. With one signature, Phyllis unknowingly becomes the legal owner of everything tied to Cain's crimes. Forged documents, stolen funds, and possibly even murder. Jill Abbott warns that Cain has lost his moral compass completely. Lily Winters and the twins have already cut all ties with him, leaving him desperate and isolated. And a desperate man in Genoa City is the most dangerous kind. Cain knows the authorities are circling, and he's determined to let someone else take the fall, even if that means betraying the only person who stood by him. Soon, Phyllis finds herself at the center of a storm she can't control. Investigators start connecting her name to fraudulent accounts. Anonymous threats arrive, and whispers spread that whoever is avenging Madame Delejon's mysterious death believes she was Cain's accomplice. In true Phyllis fashion, she'll fight tooth and nail to clear her name. But this time, the trap may be too well laid to escape. Cain may walk free, but Phyllis could lose everything: her freedom, her fortune, and even her life. Jill makes a life-altering decision that could change her relationship with Billy forever. Kyle takes a swing in his ongoing struggle to win back Clare, and Holden reconnects with someone from his past, reigniting old worries and unanswered questions. Key takeaways. Jill Abbott has always walked the line between love and business, but her latest decision may cost her more than she expects. After weeks of friction with Billy over the situation with Cain, Jill finally makes a call that could change the balance of power and their relationship for good. Her choice isn't just about strategy, it's about trust. Jill's attempt to rein in her son's impulsive behavior may look like betrayal from Billy's perspective. Their mother-son bond has endured plenty of clashes over the years, but this one feels different. The emotional fallout could force both of them to confront just how far they're willing to go to prove themselves right. Meanwhile, Kyle Abbott plays hardball in a way that reminds everyone he's Jack's son through and through. Kyle refuses to back down when it comes to Clare. He's not ready for their relationship to be over for good. His determination to win, regardless of the cost, shows just how far he's drifted from the charming young man he once was. This latest move could earn Claire's affections, but we bet she won't be too thrilled if he shows up in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles with Clare, Holden reconnects with someone from his past, sparking a mix of nostalgia and unresolved tension. The meeting opens old doors and new problems, forcing Holden to question whether revisiting the past is the key to moving forward. Expect to see Sienna Bacall show up to shake things up. His emotional arc adds depth to a week dominated by business rivalries and family strife, reminding viewers that sometimes the biggest battles are the ones fought in the heart. As Tuesday's Y&R episode unfolds, Jill's big decision sets off ripples across Genoa City, from boardrooms to broken hearts. And while Kyle and Holden hope to win the affections of the same woman, both learn that looking forward sometimes means facing what they've left behind. The Young and the Restless recap for Tuesday, October 14th, reveals that Harrison Abbott will spill his nightmare to Kyle Abbott, while Sienna Bacall interrupts Clare Newman and Holden Novak. At the Abbott house, Kyle will talk to Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott about flying to Los Angeles tonight on his mission to win Clare back. Jack and Diane will worry about Kyle making things worse, but he'll make it clear that he's not going to pressure Clare. However, Kyle will feel like there's no time to waste since Clare's off with a player like Holden. Harrison will eventually come running downstairs after having a nightmare involving them getting separated from Clare, who was at the top of a hill while he was rolling down in a car with Kyle. Kyle will assure Harrison that it was just a dream and will plan on bringing Clare home to them so he can make everything better. In Los Angeles on Tuesday's Y&R episode, Clare and Holden will discuss some of the adventures they've been having on their trip. It'll be Clare's first time in a nightclub, so she'll appreciate Holden showing her his old favorite. Sienna will saunter over and recognize Holden since she's the club owner, so she'll wonder where he's been and what he's been up to. Holden will get uncomfortable as Sienna brings up Audrey and plays up Clare as a better choice. After Holden corrects Sienna on her name being Audra Charles, He'll insist she's in the past and that Clare is just his friend. Sienna will assume Holden wants Vespers and will offer up some free drinks for the table. In a moment alone with Sienna, Holden will call her out for trying to make trouble for him, but she'll insist that's not what she's doing. Holden will also ask if Sienna is still with someone named Mitch, so Sienna will claim they're partners for life, though things will get awkward as she admits she doesn't know where he is at the moment. Holden will also let Sienna know that Clare isn't someone to underestimate before Clare pops back up. Clare will fish for more information on Holden's history, but he'll remain cagey and will go back to flirting with her. Over a video chat, Jill Abbott will apologize to Sally Spectra for not getting a chance to meet with her in person before she left town. After Jill confirms Sally made a compelling pitch, she'll agree to fund Abbott Communications as long as she remains anonymous. Sally will wonder what she's supposed to tell Billy Abbott, but Jill will be adamant that he can't know she's involved. Once Sally disconnects from Jill, she'll come clean with Billy in the jazz lounge anyway. Sally will admit she went to Jill for the money and got her to agree to be their investor. Billy will immediately shut down the idea and get annoyed with Sally for going behind his back to ask Jill for the funding. Nevertheless, Sally will argue that Jill wouldn't be doing this if she didn't believe in Billy and want to make amends. Billy will finally relent a bit and seem open to considering this if Jill remains truly hands-off. That said, Billy will want to speak with Jill directly about her intentions. Sally will have concerns about Billy running to his mother and admitting she went against Jill's wishes by telling him the truth. It'll leave Sally wondering if Billy's really going to put everything in jeopardy by risking a blow-up with Jill. Sally will beg Billy not to make her regret being honest with him, so he'll have a big decision to make. Young and the Restless, week spoilers for Octu 13, 24/2025. Expose Sharon Newman freaking out. We got 2 new characters in addition to a recast. Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson are telling Nick Newman about Cain Ashby being super upset about the hit piece. He's threatening a lawsuit, but Nick is solely focused on getting to LA to check on Noah Newman and Sharon. Victor Newman is pushing back, saying it's a bad time for him to leave. Nick's attitude is that the rest of them can handle Cain. Victoria Newman's parents also tell her about Cain's threat to sue. Victor thinks Nick is overreacting about this LA thing, but then he gets a hysterical call from Sharon, and his parents relent on him leaving. Victor even orders the private jet to get Nick to LA as fast as possible because Sharon said that Noah was in a bad car accident. She is flipping out and says it's like Cassie Newman all over again. Chelsea and Adam joke with Victoria later about the calm before the Cain storm. Adam also says that Nick is on his way to LA when Victoria joins them for dinner, so she's not aware of the wreck situation. Victoria says that Clare Grace Newman is also in Los Angeles. Chelsea warns Victoria about Holden Novak working for Cain and kind of being a bit of a con artist and a player. Kyle Abbott overhears, and he pulls Victoria aside and tells her he is going to go to LA to win back Clare. He asks Victoria where Clare is staying. Kyle also warns Victoria that Holden is bad news, but Victoria isn't going to tell Kyle anything about where Clare is staying, and she doesn't think it's a good idea for him to go to California. Adam and Chelsea are stunned when they find out that the Cain and Colin story has blown up worldwide. Adam doubts that Cain is ever going to recover from the hit to his reputation that they have dealt him. Cain, meanwhile, tells Phyllis Summers they both need their public images rehabbed. Cain proposes that they try using his super-duper AI for good instead of evil. That whole thing rubs her the wrong way. Phyllis insists that they need to use the AI for vengeance on their enemies. Phyllis says that Billy Abbott was right, that Cain doesn't know what he's doing. He keeps changing his mind and direction. That is all accurate. Phyllis tries flirting the AI program out of Cain, and they nearly kiss. Getting that close to Phyllis freaks Cain out, and after she leaves, he calls, trying to reach Lily Winters, but just gets voicemail. Kyle is playing tough. Maybe it's with Holden in LA, or maybe it's with somebody in Genoa City, as he's trying to get the info about where Clare is staying so he can go stalk her. Jill Abbott. Big decisions affect her relationship with Billy. We'll see if it's better or worse. I'm going to guess it's not better. Jill is leaving Genoa City soon to get more heart treatment in London. but she may get together with Sally Spectra before she goes and give her that Abbott-Com funding. Holden gets a blast from the past in LA when he runs into his old friend, Sienna Bacall. She may be an ex-partner in crime, just an ex-friend, or maybe somebody who also dated him. The good news is, Sienna is no fan of Audra Charles, who she mockingly calls Audrey. Nick and Sharon are in for a shock. It looks like Noah's car crash was really bad, and it might not have actually been an accident. Clare is happily out at the bar having vespers with Holden. She's rocking a wilder LA sort of smoky-eye rocker look for this new stage in her life. But her plan to get away from the stress in Genoa City goes sideways. I suspect that's because Kyle is going to show up after he tracks Clare down, and he's just giving off desperate stalker vibes at this point. Victoria gets some comfort from Nate Hastings. Could be about Clare's dilemma. With Kyle and Holden, she might be worried about Clare being out on her own in Los Angeles. She may be worried about the car crash that her nephew Noah was in. I'm just hoping that all this has sparks flying for Nate and Victoria. Nikki Newman takes matters into her own hands. I wonder if she is going to go personally confront Cain about that AI. I don't think she wants Cain to give it to Victor because I think she's figured out he is definitely going to use it against Jack Abbott. What Nikki doesn't know is that Jack wants it to use against Victor. Not surprising, and that's kind of Victor's fault. Tessa Porter surprises Mariah Copeland. It looks like Tessa is going to show up at the mental health facility in Boston, where Mariah is getting inpatient treatment for the PTSD of Ian Ward, and just what went on with that old dude she almost killed. But Mariah might be mad to see Tessa there. This may not be a happy reunion, because she's told her to butt out and stay away. Nick and Sharon meet someone mysterious on Thursday. We are getting another new character on Thursday, Detective Burrow, played by the very handsome Matt Cohen. He makes his debut late this week. Fun fact, when he was over on General Hospital, he dated Haley Aaron's character, whose name was Kiki, who was then brutally murdered. Roger Howarth makes his Young and the Restless debut soon. He played Haley Aaron's GH character Kiki's dad until, in very soapy style, they found out that her mom lied and he wasn't really her dad. It's just kind of interesting that Haley Aaron has close ties to 2 of the 3 General Hospital people that are coming. I don't remember her ever having scenes with Tamara Braun over on General Hospital. I know they overlapped at some point, I'm pretty sure, but they weren't really like friends or anything that I can recall. Jack is trying to straighten things out with Billy. Nick goes looking for some answers, and I'm sure it's about Noah's crash. Audra gets an unpleasant reminder of the past. This may be about that sketchy thing that went on in Los Angeles with her and Tucker McCall and Holden that has never been properly explained to us. Nick tries to figure out who targeted Noah. We're going to have more scenes with Detective Burrow, likely with both Nick and Sharon. This all seems to tie back to Noah's nightclub plans. Sienna and Holden's backstory unfolds for us. I'm also wondering if Sienna knows Tucker, since she also knows Audra. Billy is still struggling as Jill leaves Genoa City, and I do not expect to have closure on Billy and Jill, or really Cain and Jill, other than she excuses and enables Cain. But Jack does keep trying to smooth things over. He's trying to keep Billy out of a spiral. Chelsea, Adam, and Victor are all feeling quite smug about trashing Cain in the public eye. But if they keep pushing him, he may start to listen to Phyllis, who's whispering in Cain's ear like a devil on his shoulder, and may get him to use the AI against Newman. Kyle heads back to Genoa City alone, and Audra is probably going to get a tongue lashing from him. He may blame her for Holden targeting Clare. The Young and the Restless scoop for the week of October 13th reveals Clare Newman's impromptu vacation will face a major hurdle. Also coming up, Nick Newman and Sharon Newman will get alarming news. Plus, Tessa Porter will pay a visit to Mariah Copeland, and Victoria Newman and Nate Hastings will share a close moment. Y&R spoilers tease Victoria, and Nate have been leaning on each other to get through their grief. As viewers know, Nate recently lost Damian Cain, a half-brother he was just getting to know, and Victoria lost Cole Howard. But when their old feelings begin to come back, will they share a kiss? Meanwhile, Tessa and Daniel Romalotti will make their way to Boston. Once they arrive at the clinic, Tessa will spend some time with her wife. However, How is Mariah going to react when Tessa tells her she was at the hotel where she almost killed Will Hensley? At a hospital in LA, Sharon and Nick will be desperately worried about Noah Newman, who was badly injured in a car crash. They'll get an update from Noah's doctor and the news won't be good. Later in the week, Nick and Sharon will meet a mysterious stranger. Other Y&R spoilers tease Jill Abbott will make a big decision about Billy Abbott. Plus, Tamara Braun will make her debut on the Sudzer as Sienna Bacall, an old friend of Holden Novak's, and Phyllis Summers gets up close and personal with Cain Ashby. Finally, Claire will be enjoying herself with Holden as they hang out at a bar in LA. But what she won't know is that Kyle Abbott will manage to find out where she's staying by forcing Victoria to tell him, and is heading to La La Land. Suffice it to say, Kyle may regret his decision to stalk Claire. His ex-girlfriend told him she needed some space, and he's about to invade it. But could he walk in on something he'll wish he'd never seen? Will he find Claire in a compromising position with Holden? Stay tuned! Hey Y&R fans! Are you enjoying the new CBS Sudzer Beyond the Gates? Then make sure you join our free Facebook group. Keep reading The Soap Scoop for Young and The Restless Spoilers and News. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks, October 13th to 34th, suggest fans need to brace for some horrifying moments in Los Angeles, while there's wedding drama for one couple. Plus, there will be fireworks between Cain Ashby and Phyllis Summers. Off the cusp of that Newman media hit piece, Cain will be reeling. He was on shaky ground with the twins and Lily Winters, as it was, so he'll be desperate to turn things around. Y&R spoilers for the week of October 13 to 17 hint that he'll turn to Phyllis and ask for her help to do something, using that AI software to make him look good in the eyes of the public, as well as his family. Still, she'll issue him an ultimatum. Phyllis will tell him she can help if he gives her the AI program. However, he'll be hesitant to do this. Cain will agree to think about it if she provides some scenarios on how she will use it, and if she proves that he can trust her with it. Over to Nick Newman, he'll be shocked by a distress call from Sharon Newman. Sharon will call him to let him know that she's at an LA hospital, as Noah Newman is there after a car crash, fighting for his life. The whole scene will feel eerily like Cassie Newman's situation, so the parents will be terrified for their son. Noah will likely be in a coma, which means Nick and Sharon will be left with a ton of questions and no answers as to why their son had been acting strangely leading up to the collision, and what exactly has landed him in this predicament. Noah won't be able to speak to what happened, which will have Schick that much more on edge. There will be 2 major characters debuting during the week of October 13th. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that General Hospital alum Matt Cohen will enter the canvas on Thursday, October 16th, as Detective Burrow, and he'll be involved in the Schick Noah storyline. Plus, soap vet Tamara Braun will debut Sienna Bacall on Tuesday, October 14th. Sienna is a bar owner in LA, and she'll have scenes with Holden Novak and Clare Newman as the two enjoy some Vespers in her establishment. Sienna will mention Holden's past relationship with Audra Charles, so it'll be interesting to learn more about Sienna and how her story relates to those in Genoa City. Elsewhere, Kyle Abbott will be ruthless in his pursuit of heading to LA. During the Monday, October 13th episode, he'll approach Victoria Newman at Society, requesting information on Claire's address in LA. With that said, the mom will deny his request. However, Kyle will do something massively sketchy to ensure he gets the information he wants. In fact, it looks like he'll also completely catch Clare off guard when he shows up in LA and crashes her getaway adventure. In other news, Mariah Copeland will get a visit to Boston from Tessa Porter. Still, things have been very testy between this super couple since Mariah's business trip and her odd evening with Will Hensley. Will the visit end on a good or sour note? During the week of October 17th to 24th, things could get even worse for Tessa and Mariah. If Tessa informs her wife about the digging that she and Daniel Romalotti did, Mariah could have a meltdown. This may have Tessa running into Daniel's arms for comfort, but will the two also share a romantic moment? Daniel has genuine feelings for Tessa, while Tessa has friendly feelings for Daniel. With that said, if she's vulnerable, she could get caught up in a moment. Over to the Noah situation, Nick will search for answers surrounding his son's situation. Y&R spoilers suggest that this mystery buffet will have its fair share of twists, turns, and possibly horrifying moments. Nick may be completely shocked by the mess Noah has gotten into. But will Noah be okay? Finally, the week of October 27 to 31st will bring some wedding planning as Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti prep for their November nuptials. Cricket and Danny have already knocked off a lot on their to-do list, but there are still some things to iron out, as well as a bachelor and bachelorette party to organize. So there may also be some celebrations along the way, too. Will Phyllis throw a wrench in their festivities? She may be more preoccupied with Cain. The two got mighty close to having a steamy kiss during the October 13th episode, so fans should expect more fireworks between the two as Phyllis presents her AI plans to Cain, and he decides whether or not to give her the software. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest the next 3 weeks will be over the top as November sweeps quickly approaches, so fans need to stay tuned to the CBS soap to catch every moment.